Thanks. Hello, everybody. We'd like to apologise in advance for not having any women in today's panel, but we do have a Scouser, a Scotsman, an Irishman, and someone who likes to pretend he's Welsh. I'm Colin Murray. This is Fighting Talk. 5 Live Sport begins at midday today with Newcastle-Chelsea. We'll be bringing you all the goals in the station and also, of course, those resounding tributes planned around the nation in memory of Gary Speed. Join Mark Pugach from 12 today after Fighting Talk. We aim to get you there with a smile on your face as always. Thanks for tuning in. Let's meet the panel. Making his debut, a footballer who made 20 appearances for Northern Ireland and over 200 for Norwich City, but we most remember him for his 3 appearances for Spurs. Nowadays, he's a motivational speaker and does a show on Radio Norfolk, so insert your cheap partridge gag here. It's up to you, but I go with it's too late to back out of FT now, Paul. Check the small print on your contract. Short people got no reason. Paul McVeigh's here. Hi, Paul.
Hello, Colin. How you doing? I like the song.
Celebrating it, that's what I like to see. You almost got Oompa Loompa because that goes to the shortest ever F tier.
Who's that?
Not you, you'll be glad to know. You're an inch above that. So it's Tayo Papula is the smallest of every Fighting Talker. You're second. We think Lamo is now third. Right, next up, an FT regular and a favourite of Scottish housewives all over Scotland and the Exiles, it has to be said. One of the most consistent of all FT panellists. His simple volume of answers often secure him a place in the final, whilst providing the minimum amount of value to the licence fee payer. So far, the FT elders haven't found a way of making his multiple answer tactic illegal, but we're looking at bringing in a whip rule in the new year. He's the second most handsome presenter on TV's Crufts coverage. Dougie Ando Anderson's here. He made the journey north for us today.
Yeah, it's good to be here in Salford. It's not Manchester, is it? We are in Salford, an important distinction. And I just want to say hello to all the Salford housewives listening. I'll be here till 1:15 this afternoon.
You can see 4 of them then. Right, next another debutant, although hardly new to 5 Live. I give this young lad his big break when I plucked him from obscurity and made him a regular in Sunday's 5 Live Sport, which was enough to enable him to buy his first car. A writer for The Mirror, which is a publication that is not actually possible for an Irishman to say, but I mean, it's a newspaper basically. Ah, makes sense now, doesn't it? Andy Dunn's here for his debut as well. Been a long time coming.
It has been a long time coming. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad there was no stereotypical Scouser song on there.
No. Damn it. Finally, after a week of heavy promotion that has seen him pop up on TV shows such as Daybreak and Live with Gabby, a man who returns to FT where he knows there will be absolutely no chances to plug his DVD. It will not be tolerated for him to mention his DVD, which is out just in time for Christmas, is an ideal stocking filler, and he was described by Time Out New York as a stand-up superstar. But no way to plug the DVD today. Please welcome a comic and Bristol City fan.
At the time I always feel happy as a kid.
Red Robin's here. Mark Watson, how are you?
Fine, thanks, yeah. Not too much in particular as a DVD, but I don't really ever dwell on it. I'm just going about my normal business, doing Fighting Talk and then performing in Wem, Shropshire this evening, a place which no one but me believes in the existence of.
How many sofas have you sat on this week?
Oh, it's time to sit on some different furniture. I'm so relieved I've got at least a recognisable chair here.
Right, guys, today is the day, of course, that football fans will remember and celebrate the life of Gary Speed. So let's lead the way with a truly positive Fighting Talk style. Gentlemen, Gary Speed, Andy Dunn.
I've got a story that I can tell you there are hundreds of sports journalists would tell the same one. I was working for the crew in Nantwich Guardian as a young cub reporter, introduced to Gary at a golf club actually. 10 years later I'd risen to the dizzy heights of the Sunday People, and then I saw Gary again, hadn't seen him since, and he remembered me, knew my name, addressed you as that, as though you were the most important journalist in the room. And I can tell you now, every other sports journalist will have the same thing to say.
Well, he's not a journalist, but we'll get a answer from him anyway. Dougie Anderson.
Well, you say not a journalist, but a writer, and in many ways a dreamweaver. I never met Gary Speed. I concur with everything that's been said about him in the last 7 days. I thought it was a very good thing that he was honoured at the Eurodraw yesterday, and quite right too.
Excellent. Paul McVeigh, your thoughts on Gary Speed?
Well, I think if you've played at in the Premier League or if you played at international level, then you're going to play it against Gary Speed. And I was lucky enough to play against him when we played Northern Ireland, played Wales at the Millennium Stadium. Everyone was getting sent off left, right and centre. We had
Sounds like a normal Northern Ireland Wales game.
Michael Hughes, David Healy, and of course Robbie Savage gets sent off for Wales, and Gary Speed showed the class that he is, but just class player all round. And yeah,
that was Robbie Savage's only red card, wasn't it?
no, it
Or did
couldn't
he
have
have
been.
two? No, he's one of the most booked, but hardly ever gets sent off. I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Mark?
Yeah, like Doug, I never met Gary Speed, but I'm now haunted by the fact that I once saw him walking out of BBC TV Centre, and quite often happens with former footballers that I think that's Gary Speed and just not got the guts to say hello to them. And it's a good example of you've got to, take the moment because you never know what'll happen.
Yeah. Okay, question 2 now, and it always comes from you, the listener. Let's ask Tim from London what he's up to today. What's your plans, Tim?
Oh, hi. Hi, Colin.
Hi,
I
mate.
think I'm probably going to be putting up Christmas tree lights outside.
I know, it's that time. I rang someone the other day, they were Christmas shopping. I was like, what are you doing that in November for? They were like, it's December, you idiot. Get down the shop. Tim, what's your question, mate?
As Sebastian Vettel so outrageously compared himself to Ayrton Senna on Sunday, what other examples have you got of sports stars with an overinflated opinion of themselves?
I tell you what, never a question 2 that had so many possible answers, Dougie.
Well, if I may say to Tim as a kickstart, maybe try and put some Christmas lights inside before outside, because they really do make a house a home. I would firstly go for Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now,
Yeah.
he thinks...
Ominous word.
Yeah.
He has won 8 titles.
No, he thinks he's up there with Pele, Maradona and Cruyff when it comes to talent. He's not. He's just a bit taller. But
Sorry, Paul.
Ronnie Sullivan only this week has demanded and in fact received 25 grand to appear at the UK Championship, which starts today, with the rest of the field taking part just for prize money and a guaranteed 3 grand. Now there's a massive difference between 25 and 3 grand. One player shouldn't make or break a tournament, no matter how skilled they are. Shame on him.
2 answers, thanks, Dougie. That'll do, one less than usual. Paul McVeigh, your debut finding talk answer, and we are looking for sports people with overinflated egos.
Yeah, I'm going to go for David Hay, that thinks he's Muhammad Ali. So he's made this massive thing about retiring now after being battered by Vladimir Klitschko. And now he's in advanced talk to fight Vitaly Klitschko. Vitaly's actually 40 years old and probably a better fighter. So he's waiting on someone with the surname of Klitschko. So I think Vitaly and Vladimir's mum could probably come out and give him a left hook to knock him out. So he needs to make up his mind. He's either good enough to carry on boxing or he's not. But I'm 5'6" and I think I could take him.
I thought that recently when I saw an ex-heavyweight boxer at the BBC, and I looked at him and thought, you know what? My heart's big. I could go in. As long as he didn't clip me. Andy Dunn, your debut answer.
Ian Poulter. I mean, if you remember 4 years ago, he said, don't get me wrong, I respect every other pro golfer. I know I haven't played to my full potential. When I do, it will just be me and Tiger. Now bear in mind, this was in an article that he also posed for a picture nude next to. Actually, nude apart from a head cover, so to speak. And you've got to have some front. I guess that's a little bit less embarrassing than posing those trousers. But if you wear those trousers for a start off, you've got to have some ego. And then, of course, as you know, since then, it hasn't exactly just been him and Tiger. It hasn't been that well for Tiger either since, to be honest.
Well, in a weird way, it kind of is.
He never produced
He's on his head covers, Tiger.
Mark Watson, overinflated egos.
Firstly, I do agree about O'Sullivan and the sort of disparity with earnings, but then I'm on 8 grand for the show, so I feel guilty.
8 grand? No one told me that.
I didn't realise it was going to come up. I would say, now he denies saying this. He says it was mistranslated, but United reserve goalkeeper Thomas Cusack recently said he felt like a slave because he wasn't playing enough. Yeah. So, he's not a slave. He's a very highly paid gentleman. There's a big difference. But just in general, any player that makes a great fuss about, I should be in the starting 11, Arsenal players that leave for Man City, even though they're already in the... Basically, almost all footballers that moan about not being in the team. I have to listen to fighting talk sometimes, and someone like Bunce is on instead of me. I just keep working hard and get back into the first team.
But Colin, what excuse am I going to have for my career then if I wasn't on the team?
You didn't have an overinflated opinion of yourself.
Oh, okay.
You're grounded.
He did the decent thing, retired and became a motivational speaker.
Yes, exactly. Tim from London, we need 2 bonus points. Everyone's almost level, so it will make a difference.
Right, well, I liked Mark's answer, but I think Dougie, just for pronouncing Zlatan... No, I can't try. I'm not going to try. Shall I go for Dougie?
Can I ask a very, very quick supplementary question too, Tim, in
Yeah.
London? Are you going for an angel or a star on